But I'm glad to have everybody here today. You took the time to come and learn how you can put the RealBird to work. That RealBird is a really hard worker, and we want to make sure that you're using it to its best capability. So we're going to go over, share some ideas, and share some things that real agents are doing to make real progress and generate real leads. And we want to share some of that with you here today. The philosophy that my website has to do it all is kind of like very old. I mean, I've been doing real estate websites for this year, 20 years. I'm helping people, brand themselves online, have a place that they can put their business so that people can see what they offer. Website is can communicate a lot of things. You want it to communicate your brand. You want to have your website represent you, communicate how you're different, communicate the services you provide. You can go ahead and answer questions on the phone 24 hours a day, but that's not realistic. Your website should be something that delivers information that teaches your potential clients how you work, the services you provide. Like I said, how you're different. It should answer general questions that people might have. You can't be ready to spill that out to everybody that asks, or like I say, be available 24 hours a day. So having a website online to show who you are and what you do, it's a necessity. I know more and more people that I've worked with, they would say things like, "Hey, why do I need a website? Basically, I have my Facebook business page. Why can't I have just everything there?" Well, I don't think you should build your business on the foundation, everything that Facebook has to offer. Look what's happened in the last couple of weeks. I'm not sure you want all of your brand there. Should you be there? Should you be using the tools that like Facebook gives you, like a Facebook business page that you can have your listings and property search and contact information and reviews, videos? Absolutely. But it shouldn't be the only place. Your main place should be your website. But you can't expect your website to do everything. Now, sharing with you today, I always share a little bit that the RealBird toolbox is made up of really kind of two halves to the toolbox. The listing publisher, which gives you the ability to create as many single property websites as you want, and it doesn't matter what status they're in. Believe it or not, with RealBird, you can actually I'll say that, use the word exploit. You can leverage your sold, your active, and your pending listings. Even I should have put. I just thought we can do coming soon now. Just remember that. And more my clients are doing that, and their brokerages or their boards are letting them do that, or they can advertise a coming soon listing. Now, in the MLS. That you can't do that. Well, some areas, actually in Austin, Texas, they're letting agents put a status of coming soon within the MLS. But the whole idea is to this window.
I think you can put them now in several MLSs.
Okay.
I think they're all coming aboard with this coming soon stuff.
Oh yeah, not all of them will do it, but I know for sure Austin and a few others are doing it as well. So you can do that with your RealBird listing. Now, this is what I call this is the window of a transaction window, so to speak. It might say it opens with coming soon and it closes with sold, but RealBird lets you leverage every single point along that, and within that, every single window pane, so to speak, of that transaction window. And you should. Each status that you might have a single property website built in each of those different stages of the transaction window communicates a different message. Coming soon means, hey, I've got the listings. This one's coming. Thought I might let you know about on the market. You can come to me for information about things that are going to be happening, because I know what's going on, and I'm able as a real estate agent to connect with what properties are coming on the market. Active, obviously, active status. Come bring an offer. Let's make a showing. Let's do a deal. Let's make submit an offer. Pending. Hey, this one is almost going away. I know a lot of agents are leveraging the pending with either marking it pending and contingent or accepting backup offers, so that, because not always the first deal doesn't always go through. And so this way, by creating a single property website and market pending, and even sharing that, you can make sure that you're just taking advantage to get the best offer possible for that listing. And of course, sold. We have a broker in Denton, Texas, by Dallas, Fort Worth area, and she has done incredible in marketing her sold listings. I mean, you can post your sold listings. Sold listings mean something. So let me jump up here real quick. This is Susan Rupert. She's an agent of RealBird. And now this is her Zillow profile. And she said, why am I bringing up a Zillow profile? Well, Zillow profile gives you the chance to put all your past sales in there, where you either represented the buyer or the seller. You just have to know the address and whether did state whether you were the buyer or the seller, what was the sold date, and what it sold for. And of course, you putting this information into Zillow, into the general database, it's going to benefit them, but it also benefits you. What I found and feedback I've got is that people go to Zillow, like it or not, they go there, and the more success they've seen you have, the more they'll talk. If you have past sales here, and I've run into a few agents that have here, they've been in business 6-7 years, and they have 5 past sales. People are going to look at that profile online, and they're going to say, well, you haven't been very successful. So anyway, that's just a tip right there. Get your past sales into Zillow, and sorry, you, by the way, can submit them in a spreadsheet. If you submit a spreadsheet to Zillow with those 4 items, the address of the property, whether you're the buyer or the seller, the date it sold, and how much it sold for, they will submit them for you and put them connected to your profile. And yes, I believe you are helping Zillow out when you're doing that, but you're also helping yourself. So go back to here. Put all your solds in your RealBird account. Even if it's a listing, say you're new to RealBird, I've only been here, say you've only been a year with RealBird, but you've been in business 4 or 5 years. Take a little time, doesn't take too much time, and you can go into RealBird and you can go into listing marketing, and listing marketing, click add new. And I realize there might not be an add new, it might be a sold one, but still click this one where it says add new for sale listing. And by the way, you don't have to have all the details. At least have an address, at least have a picture or two. You don't need an MLS, at least beds, bath, and square feet. I usually do that. And maybe a title. I mean, put in the title sold. Sold in, maybe it's a subdivision in Rolling Hills Estates, sold in Rolling Hills Estates. And so that actually the search engines will grab that listing title and connect you with whatever words, keywords you put in. Put in a brief description. Don't put instructions how to get to the house, or just take a little time. Doesn't take much. Add at least 1 picture, and then of course mark it right here, sold. Okay, so it would take, say if you had 20 solds that you want to put inside RealBird. I hope we put it inside Zillow too as well, but put them in RealBird. And then let me give an example what you can do here. Let's here we go. So this is Susan Rupert. Let me go to her I'll go to her website. I'm going to pull that up. So the idea is to take every single property and squeeze every ounce of lead out of it you can get. And that's what's unique about RealBird, is RealBird lets you do that. So while that's pulling up, we'll come back to that. You want to enhance your listings. We're going to talk about that, mainly about that today. How can these single property websites that you're going to build, how can they communicate as much information? Of course, obviously they're centered on, focused on a property that's for sale or in one of these stages right here. But what do they communicate about you and your brand and your abilities and what you can do for a potential client? People see marketing, I'm not saying selfish, but their world, their ego is around them. How can this help me? When you're seeing the content that you create, you're communicating things to them that they would say, okay, well, if I was selling my house, I think I'd want that. I want a video. I want a video of my property. See, the key is to have as many people experience that listing in as many different ways as possible, without having to do a live showing and bother the sellers. You're going to bother the sellers with people, real showings when they're further down the decision timeline to say, hey, we've seen the inside, we've seen the pictures, we've seen the schools down the street, we've seen the virtual tour, and now we think this is one we might want to make an offer on. And see, that's advancement that we've made in technology the last 20 years is to get people further along the decision point to where before they want to see the house. Now, we know people like seeing houses for sale, new or existing homes. Just people like that. But this at least narrows those people down, filters the people out that might not be the best buyers for that home. So this single property website can share a lot of things. So we'll talk about enhancing the listings. We've got some new tools that are added. Here, I want to show that on Susan's site. So for Susan, List with Susan, she's a specialist in the State College, PA, so it's State College, Pennsylvania, and kind of centered around Penn State is kind of like her area, and you can see that's pretty evident by this map that I was able to create with her single property website she created in RealBird that have now, obviously they're sold, and some of these were back 6 years ago, but you can see, if all the, not all the homes, because obviously she sold in a broader area. If I zoom it out more, you'll see a whole bunch more out broad. But the center part of her area that she specializes in is helping people buy and sell, mainly sell, homes in the State College area. And this is another way that I'm displaying in a Pinterest board style fashion of her solds. So basically what's here is also here. So if you click on any one of these, and you click more info, there will actually pull up like one of these, but in full view. It's a single property website. So, so you can display your solds in that way, and don't be afraid to do that. I haven't really found any place in the country where you can't do that. Now, obviously, we might not want to sell these people this house again because they're happy with it. Susan did a great job, but be able to show your success, I think, is really important. Okay, so don't underestimate the power to generate leads from all segments of the timeline of a property for sale. Okay, the other part of the RealBird toolbox is property search, and it's sourced by Oodle, and Oodle gets the listings from different sources and provides them in a search fashion. Is it accurate as like what's live in the MLS today? No. Is it enough to generate leads? Absolutely, it is. And you'll find that under RealBird when you log in. Used to be the property search here. Now it's here, and listing marketing's here. But the property search is here. It works. You can generate leads with it. You can customize this search to where you can install it on your website. It works really, really good. Here goes Scott Baker Homes. Scott Baker's done a great job of taking the RealBird tools and really putting them to work. And I realized you could pay for an IDX for your website and with the MLS, and that's going to start somewhere between like $40, $45 and go up to $120 a month. Scott's actually taken the search and built it right within his website, so you can search right on his website. So pretty cool, and you can use that to property search. Here's a good example of it. So what he did is he took it and zoomed down into these neighborhoods that he specializes in. And with the property search, you can grab code or widgets, the HTML code, I'll show you in a second, and then embed them to show, live listings based on this RealBird source property search. Show you that real quick so you can see that. Okay, so here is I'm back inside RealBird under property search, get links and widgets. This happens to be for Susan Rupert. I can click search, I go map-based search, and then I can take that and I can embed that in the website. And this is where you'll do that with right down here. I zoomed out so you can see a little more. The red ones happen to be her listings, and then I can grab that code, and I can grab this code and then paste that into a page within her website to show homes for sale. So I zoom it down. You want to start with up here, your parameters up here, and then you grab the code that you give here. If you zoom it out here and you change, then what you're going to have to do there is you're going to have to grab the HTML here. That you're going to have to grab that if you've made a change from making selections right here. Okay, so a great way to be able to generate leads. And by the way, those listings are hers, the red ones, but the blue ones are not. Those are other listings that are available. But if you click on them, they're going to be branded by Susan. Pretty cool. So, don't spend, $45 to $120 a month for search when you can provide that within your website. But like I say, not all the homes that are available will be sourced in here, but enough to generate leads and to be able to zoom down and create a customized map and search for an area. So those are kind of the two kind of halves of the toolbox, and can't talk about it all about. I can't. There's not enough time to talk about all the tools, but I wanted to focus on a few tools today to help you use to be more successful and be more productive. So these are some ideas for finding buyers, for finding sellers. But I wanted to jump right in here and say and share with you enhancements that really can make a difference, and then show you how to share what you create with the single property websites that are provided to you in RealBird. Okay, so I'm going to share something with you. Please use video. We got some great examples of properties that are using video. Here's one. This is Susan's latest listing. It's a kind of a resort. You can live in it full time. But the video is, we have a virtual tour video from YouTube, and her virtual tour company actually created it. We grabbed it. But there's lots of different ways that you can embed video within. And this is the first thing you see. If you're pulling this up, okay, this is nice background. I'll show you how to do that today. This is nice. We got some awesome pictures. We've activated some extra tabs within her Facebook page, which is really cool. I'm going to show you how to do that. But when you see this page, what's the first thing that you want to do? And believe me, you're probably like anybody else. It's click a video. You're going to want to watch a video. That's just people navigate. They kind of focus on a video, and that's what the first thing they want to see. Maybe because it shares the most amount of information in the quickest amount of time. So there's lots of different ways to be able to do that. I know that, let me show one of these. I saw did a great job in sharing. They did a great job in sharing a little bit about the community as well. I think that, so these are all videos that you can create, live video. Okay. Oh, this one's really cool. It's got the boat going with the drone and everything. I don't launch too many of these. It'll slow my computer down. But I like this one. They have a kind of a, and of course you can't hear, it's got music.
Now I can, yeah.
Okay.
All right, you're back.
Sorry about that. I think I played this awesome video here, and I think my computer just took over the audio from the video here. So this is just an awesome video. I don't know if they produced it. I don't know if it might be this, this community that created that, but this is awesome, and this is what people will gravitate to. Yes, they'll still see the pictures up here, and they'll see the open house dates, but the video works. People navigate to video. So how are you going to do video? First of all, don't be intimidated by it. It's really not that hard. I found a really cool tool called Listing Cake. I'll show you that in a second. If you're on a Mac, you have iMovie where you can drop photos and add music and then upload to YouTube or Vimeo. Movie Maker is available if you're on Windows, or Gabe let me know that there's actually a tool called Photos. If you go to the Start menu at the bottom left of your computer on a Windows, it's called Photos, and you can add music to it and add photos as well. Now, am I really talking about a video, or is this really what we call a group of photos that are transitioning, right? That are transitioning between with some music in the background. So is it truly a movie? Well, it's kind of like called Ken Burns pan and zoom effect, but it's acceptable as a video and to show. That's basically what you're panning and zooming these still photos, and maybe some music or maybe not music, and you're uploading those and creating those on YouTube, or creating them into the tools and uploading them into YouTube or Vimeo. But start slow. I mean, just start. I guess that's the key. Don't be intimidated by it. And you do want some good, high quality images. I don't want pictures taken with your phone. And you say, "Hey, Eric, my iPhone 7 Plus has a 10 megapixel camera on it. How come I can't use my cell phone?" Nothing wrong with using your cell phone to take pictures, but don't just do it with your hands. You can get a grip. You can buy on Amazon for as little as $15. I found some, and it's a grip you put on with your iPhone, so that you have a handle. Because just holding it in your hands, if you think about that camera is trying to focus all the time while you're taking a picture, and if you're moving even slightly with your two hands, you got all your knuckles moving. It's all that affects the quality of the image, because the picture is constantly recalculating, trying to take a good focused image. And if you're holding it in your hand, unless you really steady Betty, it's hard to take one. So please, if you're going to use your iPhone, nothing's wrong with that. You can actually, believe it or not, there's tools that you can get at Amazon. Here, I'll just pull up real quick so you can see. Because I have agents say, "Hey, my phone's with me all the time. I don't always have my digital camera with me, but I always have my phone with you." Okay, that's fine. But get a grip. Get a grip. I'm just looking up here. Here, grip holder for hand. There we go.
I also would suggest to go easy on the music, right? I mean, a lot of agents. I mean, I get this all the time. Can you put music on the virtual tours?
Mm-hmm.
And you ask yourself, what does music bring to a virtual tour? I mean, in a video, it's kind of like
it sets a mood. Yeah, people don't want to be in the mood. They're going by so many things. Yeah.
Right? You don't know what. If I find your virtual tour, you have no idea if I like classical music or if I like jazz or whatever.
Yeah,
right? So that's number one. Number two, you don't know where I am. Maybe in my little cubicle at work, and I clicked on your virtual tour, and suddenly it starts blaring out, right? And everybody says, "Hey, what are you doing over there?" instead of working. Or I'm at home, and it's 9 o'clock in the evening. The kids are sleeping, and I click on. I'm in bed, and I click on this on my tablet or something. It wakes up everybody. So I mean, in a way, it doesn't bring anything to except maybe a mood, right?
Mm-hmm.
People want to see the house, so kind of like the music. I don't know, maybe they like it, but I don't. I mean, I personally, I don't mind the music, but sometimes like
I think you're taking a chance that you're gonna hit them emotionally, and that it's a lot greater chance of that you're gonna not sorry maybe tick them off, but annoy them. Or they might say, "I don't want to hear this," or "Oh, my volume's on." I'm just showing this. There's expensive ones you can buy for your camera, but there's also ones just like this that are like $15. This one is $19. Now this is kind of big. This is if you're going to be serious, where you can add lights to it. This is basically for $20. They're just selling the metal part here that would clamp on your phone. But you can. This is a great example to show. You can buy lenses that'll take your photos and make them wide angle. And they're like $15-20. It's amazing what they have available. Obviously, this is extra lighting, which if you're going to take some indoor shots, I think is great. But obviously, the microphone LED phone lens are not included. But there's tools out there that you can use, and it'll advance your professionalism very quickly with not a lot of money spent. And of course, I'm not saying that you shouldn't use professional for videographers and photographers whenever possible, but sometimes you need to start somewhere, and that might be doing it yourself. So there are tools available to help you with that. Let me share this listing cake. This is one of the coolest tools I found in a long time. This is free. It doesn't cost anything. I've used it for quite a few of my clients for their properties. And what you do is you start with an email, and then you're going to create a video, and they send you the video. You can actually download it. A lot of these places they'll create a video for you, but they won't let you download it. These guys let you download it or upload it directly to YouTube. And I basically drop pictures in here, and then I pick a layout. I think I like this one. I like the red banner. That looks good. I picked that one, and then save and continue. And it'll ask you some information about. And by the way, you can pick music royalty free, so you don't have to worry about that. And then you'll fill out the information about you and the property information, and they'll overlay it on top of here. And then you create the virtual tour, and then if you send them an email again, they'll send a link to you, and you can actually edit any changes to it that we might have created originally. This is an awesome tool. This is free. Doesn't cost anything. Listingcake.com. It's from Guerrilla Realty. They might obviously try to say, hey, here's a great tool for like a CRM for your real estate practice, which is every realtor needs a CRM, but they're providing it for free with not a lot of strings, with pretty much no strings attached. That's what's cool about it. So anyway, and the videos look awesome. If I can show it, I'm just going to show. But anyway, they look really good, and I've been very happy about. Let me see if I can find one else real quick in my email here. I thought I had one here. Live listing cake. Yeah, they're going to give you some ideas on how to use it. Okay, here we go.
There's another one like this called Rocketium, Rocketium.
Can you text that to me?
Here, I'll type it in the chat box.
So like I say, you don't have to jump right into it, but start somewhere. Yeah, let's see if I'm listening. Oh, sorry. Just trying to. I thought I had a link there. I was be able to show you. Okay, but it looks very nice, professional. They're going to recommend you upload images that are at least like 1,000 pixels wide. So you want to be able to do that and use that. Okay, new listings. Okay, sorry, I don't have. Okay, back at it. So let's dive into taking that single property website and enhancing it even more. One of the things you could do is you'll see that I took one of the large images in this for this listing here, and I upload it to the background. Now, I'm on a 32-inch screen, and I'm sharing with you today from a 32-inch monitor, so that's why you're seeing the background that I put, kind of like the single property website kind of floats on top of it, right? But if I was to take that and make it small, let me see if I can do that. You can see like maybe on a 15-inch computer that you might not see much of that in the background. But in the chance that you might, go ahead and use it. I think it's good. You never know what type of devices. You can look in your stats and your analytics and see, what types of devices people are experiencing the content or media that you're creating. You can actually track that. I can go into Google Analytics and it'll tell me, what browser they used, what type of iPhone or Android they had, how big their screen was. It'll tell me all that. How many people used, viewed a website or web page on a mobile device or a desktop. How many compared to each other? So you can tell a lot of things with analytics. But what you do with that background device, how you get that background image in there. Let me go here and I'll show you. I'll click it through. Here we go. Okay, so when you have a listing, and I'll go property search on property listing marketing. There we go.
Hey, Eric, we lost you again, I think. Sorry, guys. He is actually traveling and not broadcasting from his office, and maybe that's what does this.
I have good bandwidth. I should be good. How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Now you're back.
Sorry about that. So I'll try to jump back in here quicker if I lose you again. Okay, so I know this might look a little intimidating, all the different things you can do with that listing, okay? But don't be intimidated by it. It's just doing. You're going to learn by doing. Okay, so I've clicked edit, add details and photos, and down here it says customize design, okay? So in that customize design, I'm going down, and there's obviously you can customize the color of the title and such, but what I'm really looking for is this. So I go down to background design and I go large image. I browse for the image on my computer and I click upload and save. And I basically I like the green in the background because this house is, has most of the lots wooded. It's just very green area, very lush. They're not going to see the middle of that picture. They're going to see pretty much the edges of that of that image. See, you're not going to see that sign, but I used an image that was really look nice around the edge, because that's what
Well,
you're
if you reload the listing, then the background image appears first. So there is like a moment when they can see that. I think that's a nice effect, actually.
Yeah.
If your computer is not too fast, now your computer is you have a Mac there, and so
Yeah, so I don't know why I lost you for a little bit, but anyway, so that's where you do that inside that area, and then it lets you preview it when you're done, so you can see what it's going to look like. But take advantage to do that. Some agents have taken the opportunity maybe to have a background that represents their brand at their brokerage, or their own branding in the background. You can do that too. It doesn't have to be an image of one of the images in the slideshow. Okay. All right. So add your you have an opportunity with every one of your single
By the
property
way,
websites.
with that background image, you can also do it in a global settings, right? And then it applies to every listing. So that's then you don't have to do it on every listing separately.
On every listing, right? So if you go into listing marketing, in fact, we're going there right now. Thanks for reminding me. Listing marketing global settings. You can set the design theme right here, so that it's consistent throughout any listing that you might create. And then if you go in individually, you can I think you can override, or maybe not. No, probably not. Global settings is pretty much across the board.
No, you can override it, I think.
You can override that per listing?
Yeah,
awesome.
right.
I've been doing these webinars for over 10 years, and I learn something every time. That's the depth that RealBird has. Okay, live chat. There's also other tools in here. Live chat. You can set up live chat so that people can contact you right from the listing. Pretty awesome. We're going to talk about SMS texting as well. Okay, so let's go back to the listing marketing, RealBird listing marketing global settings. And you have 3 extra pages that are opportunity for you to brand this listing with you and information. Let's see how Susan Rupert's using it. So extra page 1, we put testimonials in there. So she's got testimonials in there. You can format them. You can separate them. Use a little bit of HTML. Don't let that scare you. This less than P, greater than P separates the testimonials. So when they're viewed live, they're separated. So it's just a little bit of HTML will help in this area. Don't let it intimidate you. Page 2, we have a little bit about Susan that talks about her. Don't pass up an opportunity to tell people about yourself. It really makes a difference. I'm going to add a P while I'm in there, by the way. It needs a good piece of HTML right there to divide that. Okay. And by the way, I've made changes here, and I want them to apply to all the listings. By the way, when I say all the listings, I think she has over 250 listings in here: active, pending, sold, coming soon. These navigational points will be on each one of those. See, there's about Susan. There's her testimonials. She has Facebook Us. I'll show you. That's how we use the last one in there. Okay, so the last one. She has a lot of content at her Facebook page where people can connect with her, and people have connected with her. But by the way, she's also very active on her personal side. And even though it's not the business side, she can share things that'll build her audience larger on her business side, on her Facebook business page. So what we've done here is I grabbed some code that lets her Facebook, kind of like a widget for her Facebook business page, and embeds it right in this third page that RealBird gives her. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so Facebook Us. Okay, it's popping up. It takes a couple seconds to pop up there. Okay. So I'm logged in my Facebook, so you're seeing other people that are connected with Susan. But this is her Facebook page, and her latest posts and her listings. They're all in there, and you can make that happen. So what you do with your 3 spots, that's really up to you. I have another agent, Deborah Lemmerhert. She has a procured list of vendors that people might need for their home that are selected. In other words, she screened them. She puts that on her third page. So you can put whatever you want, and it's pretty much, it will take code. You can embed a video if you want. You can do all kinds of stuff. So use those 3, enable them, turn them on, put them to work. Don't pass up the opportunity to do that. Okay, so one of the newest tools that RealBird shares with you is something that I think is really important. I've been, as a coach tip. I've been challenging my agents for many years to basically put the seller to work. Let them help you sell the home. I mean, if with successful close, they're going to benefit. They're going to move on in their life. They'll get the proceeds from their sale, and you'll benefit because you're putting their network, their sphere, to work to help you sell the home. And why shouldn't they? I mean, if you have a seller and believe me, I've had clients that have sellers like this, where they fold their arms and say, okay, work your magic, sell my home. I'm just going to sit here and you do your best. That doesn't work. You got to recruit the seller, to a successful close. All are going to be benefited by. Well, let me show. I want to jump in there and share with that tool. We go to listing marketing. Let's go to this newest listing she has. This is actually a listing that didn't sell last year, came back on the market. That's why it's showing so many views. But so I'm going into this listing, and here's the new tool right here, seller email tool. So if I fill this information you see out, I put recipient's name. This might put the seller's name, their email, and you could choose, what they're going to share on your behalf, and what stage. You could choose, hey, just listed. And do you want to see the single property website or the virtual tour? And the virtual tour is this. This is pretty cool. Big, beautiful images with now this one happens to be unbranded because it's just an overview. But I just as well can share. I believe could share the branded one. That's what you want. You want your contact information to be connected wherever possible with that listing, because when you put your listing in the MLS, your contact information is the first thing that gets scraped off. And RealBird does provide that. RealBird does provide the branded and unbranded version of that virtual tour. We'll come back to that. So after I fill out this information, let me see if I can pull this up so you can see what that's going to look like. Okay, let's see. This just listed in Heston. This is what it's going to look like. It's going to load pretty quick. Please forward this email with for sale, with property information to your friends, family, and colleagues. They click here, they're going to see the full details or link to the virtual tour, and there's Susan with all contact information. So don't pass up an opportunity to put the seller to work. It is not fully on your shoulders to be able to sell that home. Take advantage of the seller and their sphere of influence. They get them to pass that around. And most sellers, or if it's a good seller, they should be welcome to you handing them tools that are easy to use to help accomplish that goal of getting the house sold. Okay, and that's one of the newest tools that we have available. Other thing I want to share with you is set up your SMS texting. This is nothing to fret about. This is really not hard at all. Now, obviously, I already set Susan up with her SMS. It takes a little bit of time, not very much time. There's a good chance you can get a local number so that when you tie your offerings that your listings and offerings that you might create these customized searches and links, you want to try as much as possible to get a Twilio SMS phone number that's like yours, same area code. And we found one for her. And she uses these. Now, you don't see a lot here because this is the area where you can use that SMS once it's set up to do custom work. To give an example, she has a home valuation page at pahomesworth.com, that domain name. So if you text this to this number, you're going to get a page that's going to help you figure out, what, and of course I have that embedded in her website, so it takes you to her website. Hey, what is your state college PA home worth today? What's it worth now? Put your property address in there. Well, I was able to create that custom link by creating a code, telling it what it links to. It links to pahomesworth.com, and then I have that forever. So that's so you can create the SMS and basically send people to whatever you want them to send easily, and the people will trust texting something to a phone number long before they're going to call that phone number and leave a message or try to get a hold of you, or even text you directly. But text works. It's been shown once again. If I showed you her leads, I don't want to share leads with you because obviously those are her leads. But it's amazing. Once I set this up with her about 1.5 years ago, almost 80 to 90% of her leads now through her property listings come through this text messaging. It's really powerful.
Think about it, everybody here. Think about it. This is lead generation is a psychological exercise, right? Somebody who doesn't know you finds something about you, and either listing or who you are or whatever, and so you want them to tell you who they are and what they're looking for, so you can work with them. Now, you don't know what these people, the same as with a virtual tour, you don't know what music they like, you don't know how they like to communicate. A lot of people are shy about calling, right? They, especially somebody they don't know, or an agent. They say, okay, well, what am I gonna, or they get your voicemail, because you're probably not, I mean, I call agents every day, like 10, 15 for the renewals and this and that. I rarely get through to somebody, right? Now, so anyway, so that's one. You don't know if they like to send, if they're not afraid to send emails out. A lot of people are reluctant because they say, "Oh, I'm not sure if I want this to know about this enough to give my email out," because my email was put on a spam list a few months ago, and I keep getting email from Russian oligarchs or Nigerian princes. Now, you don't know even if they want to click on links because maybe they got a virus and their computer was wiped out. But at this day, today, I think it is safe to say that texting has none of those. And, it's not the be all for everybody, but it certainly, nobody is afraid to text. Everybody has their phones handy there. They know how to do it. When a link is returned to their texting tool, then they can immediately find it when they go home and they want to show it to their friends and family. Compare that with domain names. Let's say you walk by a house where there's a sign right there says type to see this listing, go to www.blah.com. Well, what do? Most people don't even know what to do with a domain name on their phone because they've never just had to find their browser by themselves. Well, there's it's buried in some. There's a million apps on most people's phone, so they take it out. Then they have to type it in. Okay, so that if they know how to do it, they type it in. They see the website, then they close the browser. They go home. They want to show it to their family. Will they remember what the domain name is? Probably not. Plus, you never get a lead from them doing that. You may see a trace in your Google Analytics, but with texting, you always get a lead that's actionable. You get their name if you set up caller ID, how much money they make, sometimes where they live, and that sort of stuff. So you can be much better prepared to action on that.
Basically, the whole concept is to make it easy for people to find you and find what you're offering. This is a SMS. Thanks for that, Gabe. This is her listing, newest listing. What she does with her SMS is she will take the address number, try something short and sweet as possible, and use that. This is a real easy way. So if you text 5412 to her SMS number, that 814 number, you will get everything about this property on your phone that's mobile ready. In other words, it's real friendly. It's optimized so that it looks great on a mobile device or in tablet or whatever. It's going to look great. And even with you're generating quite a few leads. I mean, I've never seen it cost more than $3 to $4 a month. If that's like and that's you getting 20, 30 leads. No, probably like 30 or 40. Anyway, it's really so cheap you're not going to know you paid for it. I mean, but I don't mean it's cheap, but I mean it's advanced. And if you're communicating. Here's the other thing too. We talked about a single property website communicating a lot of things about you, and using text that people can text you. That communicates that you're using all the tools available to make your listing available to the most amount of people. So every one of these tools I'm showing you communicates something about you and your expertise in the services you provide. That's really what it comes down to today, what we're talking about today. I want to show you the new virtual tour that's actually branded now. We had started out with a branded one. Always had a virtual tour. The legacy ones are here and here, but I'm talking about the big one. Let's go to the branded virtual tour. Okay, let me move my screen a little wider so you can see. And she's got a big, beautiful picture of this home. This is a kind of a menu, what they call a hamburger stack. That's what they call it, believe it or not. And then opens up the other details. You contact here. You can share this listing, overview of the listing, photo gallery, location, more details, and actually a video because I actually posted a video. So take advantage of this. My clients, I'm going to be moving them away from having a virtual tour company because virtual tours can take anywhere from $30 to $150 a month. Plus, to have the photos taken, if you take your own photos, you can do this. It's going to show them. I can click. Look, I can click here through here. It's going to open them in kind of what they call. It's called a light box. See how it kind of opens up and as another one, as a larger, more detailed image. You can do that. Okay, so that's available to you if you're posting the listing in the MLS and you have a place for where it asks for a media link or virtual tour link. Once you create your listing, and I think you should always create your listing first in RealBird, if at all possible, even if it's not coming soon, even if it's listed. That's what I encourage all my clients to do. If you've got a listing you're going to load, and you're going to load it in the MLS, fine. But first load it in MLS and RealBird and make it live. And if you can create a video and post a video and have it inside, embedded in the RealBird, what that does is it takes this address and it throws it at the top of the search engines. Now, you know that once you launch a listing, it goes in the MLS. There'll be 35, 40 different versions of this listing as it gets shared and syndicated without your contact information. So that's going to happen anyway if you're putting your listings in the MLS. So if that's going to happen anyway, take the advantage to jump out ahead first. Make it for a good first impression. Tell the search engines, hey, come and look at this listing, my version of this listing branded by me. I can't communicate how powerful it is to be able to do that, to be able to share that with you. Okay? We've shared a lot of tools today. We've taken some ideas. Let me just share a few what I think are great examples of. Oh, and by the way, this is a new listing. I wanted to share this listing before I jump on that. I did want to take advantage of that. So this is the new listing. I just listed it about 2 days ago, and I want to launch that in a landing page for this listing in this stage of the just listed. So I'm clicking within listing marketing. And this is the Facebook page that I want to embed. I want to share it. So I'm going to click Facebook. Okay. Let me see. I'm not sure you can see my screen. Let me make sure you can see what I'm doing. Get here. There we go. Okay. So okay. So this obviously doesn't want to. I don't want to put it on my timeline. I'll put it on Susan's because she is the agent that's representing the listing. She's in here somewhere. There we go. There's Susan Rupert. Just on the market. I got it's market vacation, because this is like a vacation. You can live there full time, but vacation resort style living. Okay, so I can put a headline in there. I can put a hashtag, vacation home, or the second home. Okay, and I've got the listing there, just listed here. Notice it automatically fills in with that text number so that they can get information right away. I'm going to go ahead and post that to Facebook and give it a second here. And then I'm going to jump into Facebook and show that to you. This is stuff that doesn't take a lot of time. If you just put it in your protocol of, you don't have to be overwhelmed by all these steps. The idea is to put these tools to work. Let me go ahead and show you what that's going to look like. You guys have been great today. I don't know if we've got any questions that still need to be answered as we're kind of wrapping up.
I just wanted to share, there's another tool that I don't think agents are using very much. It's called thinkwithgoogle.com. If you go to thinkwithgoogle.com, I think it's a Google tool, and it's to profile your ideal customer for that particular market segment and things like that. There's quite a bit of detail there, as Google always does, but just take a look at that. Maybe that's helpful.
So here, with this information here, it's going to go to a landing page. We're not giving them all the details, although if they're willing to text, they'll get all the details of this property. Otherwise, they're going to have to enter their name, email, and phone. Believe it or not, they might rather do that, which is really cool, because if they text you at that number, you get their cell phone. They're pretty cool. And then you can call them directly and connect with them. and they can fill this out as well, and they get more the rest of the property information. But you can see this is nice because it takes
your screen is dark.
my screen. Okay, sorry. Thank you for that. Okay, so once I click on the link, this is what it pulls up, and this is where I was sharing with you. It's, believe it or not, more people will text you if you have it set up than fill out this information. And the cool thing about that is they'll get all the information about this listing, but you'll get their phone number on your cell phone so you can call them. That's what's cool about that. You'll get that as a lead that you can then you'll have their cell phone number and you can call them directly. Pretty cool. And so it grabs the first image from that. Okay, so you had, and by the way, there's all different kinds of landing pages that you can create posts and share within your Facebook business page. Okay, think with Google. Yeah, I did actually just was looking at, I'd used this before. I saw it again this morning, thinking with Google, right?
No, it's thinkwithgoogle.com.
Without the ink, yeah. I have the link to it. Think with Google. So basically, they're letting you use the data that they've assembled on, I have Gmail. I use it. It's a great tool. I don't have to pay for it. And I realized that Google uses my information, not necessarily my personal information, but knows my interests so that it can share businesses that I might want with, offerings, what I have to offer. But that's how it works. It doesn't cost me anything, and I use it quite extensively, along with Gmail and other Google tools. Okay, so inside, so basically, yeah, so you can subscribe to this and find information about your potential clients and how to meet their needs and what are they looking for. Cool. Kind of advanced. Sometimes with the Google tools, everything's written by an engineer, so it's a little. Sometimes you can get lost.
Yeah, that's true. It's not for everybody, but it's good to know about just in case, right? So if you glean one thing, real estate has such a huge payback, right? That one good lead pays a lot of money, and so all this work, even if 90% of it at one point or other is just sort of like the side dish, right? I think it's worth doing it because number one, you see how others are thinking about it, and maybe you find some nugget that is helpful to you. These things.
So, gosh, we shared a lot of information. We don't want to overwhelm you. But basically, the bottom line is use the tools, put them to work, write down a protocol. That's what I do for my clients. I have a protocol that's basically, step 1, step 2, step 3 when you get a listing or you're doing a coming soon listing, and then I have them, follow that listing. Either I'm doing it for them or they're doing it themselves. But have that protocol, and I have the tools here that you can build that protocol. But try to take advantage of every option you can. To me, it's like on Sunday I play the organ in church. Okay, organ, they say pull out all the stops. Where did that come from? What's a stop? Well, when you sit down to an organ, you have all these levers that you can push. You have all these knobs that you can pull. They're called stops. And the more things you pull, the more things are working. That's why they're called the king of instruments, because basically it's an orchestra and piano and everything in one. So to me, pulling all the stops means that you're using every advantage you can to do better than your competition, to attract people that see you as an agent that's progressive, that knows how to use the tools. Believe me, that's the type of realtor that buyers want. That's the type of realtor that sellers want. Someone that's using the tools and shows that they're deft at using them. And that's what we do in these training sessions, is to help you be more successful and using advantage. Yes, do you need to have a great, awesome website? Yes, I build them for all of my clients and I optimize them. By the way, I take these tools and I also bring them inside the website. So
I have one more thing.
Yeah.
To everybody, this is important, and I already told you, Eric, but I don't know how many of you are aware of the new regulation that will kick in on May 25th, the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation. It's a European Community regulation on data protection and how to handle privacy and things like that. It's a very complicated thing, even though on the surface it's very simple. And you all have to comply with it. And if your brokerage or if your MLS or whoever it is that you're working with is not going to comply with it, then you're going to be exposed to troll lawyers, same kind of lawyers who have, I don't know if you remember, like 10 years ago, there were these patent trolls who were running around and suing some agents because of infringing supposedly some obscure patents. And it is a European community regulation, but if you want to read up on it, then just Google GDPR and Inman. Inman had a good description on it. There are some other ones about how this applies to real estate. As far as I can tell, most people have their heads in the sand. The fines are $20 million. Okay, so $20 million or 4% of the annual gross revenue of a company. Now, there's the scaling there on that, and we don't have time for me to explain to you how this works. I mean, we're here scratching our head as well with RealBird because we need to comply with it by May 25th, and this has been around for 2 years. So take a look at that and make sure that you comply with it. If it's not by the May 25th, then it's not the end of the world, but that's when it kicks in, and so I'm just, at least be aware what it does and what it is.
Okay, I found an article. Yeah, maybe I can share that. Let me see if I can share that in my chat. Okay, so by the way, I'm showing this beautiful website for Jess Couch. She's in the Sacramento area, California, and these are her listings. She has some gorgeous listings, and these widgets are all provided. They're basically, each one of these is a single property website, but it's the widgets provided so that she can show her active listings. Boom, right there on the front page. And if they're clicked on, notice it doesn't close her page; it just opens up another tab with that single property website with the information. So really cool, awesome. Please don't. Oh, I almost forgot. If you have open houses, you can show open house dates here. Don't pass up the opportunity to do that. Inside your RealBird account, you have the opportunity to do that, to post a date, a time for that listing. So let me show you how that is real quick. I got to do my best here. Okay, so open house dates is what you're looking for. Let me click under here, right here, under Edit, Add Details of Photos, Set Open House Dates right there. And you can set them in advance. And I believe once they're done, they pass, they go away. But you put details, directions how to get there. We'll have bagels and locks, whatever. Put the format in there, and that'll be shared with the listing. When people see that listing within that week or 2 weeks before it or whatever, people will see that listing. Oh, there's an open house date there. Awesome. So that's really important. Hey, thanks everybody for coming to the webinar here today. Hopefully you learned something. I know I did. I learned something every time, and I'm the one doing these training webinars. That's the depth of these tools that are available to you. Take advantage of them. A lot of confidence that comes along in your marketing of yourself and your listings when you can put these tools to work and know that they work for you and will generate more leads. Thanks, everybody. Come back again. We'll be back in about 14 days, 2 weeks. We'll be back here again to share some more great content with you and how you can be successful using these tools. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend. Thanks, Gabe.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good weekend.